Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News here on Sabha TV. I'm Tracy Shilchi, and in the next 30 minutes I'll be getting you the day's top stories. We are of course going to be talking about that big currency switch surprise that we saw last night and what to look forward in the day ahead, or for that matter in the next 72 hours. Also, we're getting you through the US elections, the early leads that are coming in. Let's start with the headlines. In a landmark step to fight black money, government scraps 500 and 1,000 rupee notes. Banks and ATMs to remain closed today, but government outlets, hospitals and petrol pumps will accept the notes. Pakistan target Indian posts on the line of control in Nowshera sector of Rajouri district, killing one army jawan. Indian troops retaliate, hit 3 Pakistan posts, inflicting heavy damage. Early results trickle in the bitterly contested US polls. Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump running neck and neck after notching victories in their respective Democratic and Republican bastions. And Supreme Court permits BCCI to incur expense of 58.66 lakhs for the India-England Test match in Rajkot today. Orders the cricket body to make payments directly and not transfer the funds to Saurashtra. Top focus this morning, and something which will be a topic of discussion in every household across the country. 500 and 1,000 rupee notes have been taken out of circulation by the centre. The big announcement was made in a special televised address by the Prime Minister on Tuesday evening. While everyone praised the bold step, the decision to keep banks and ATMs shut today caused confusion and worry among various peoples in cities. Here's what you need to know.
There comes a time in the history of country's development when a need is felt for a strong and decisive step.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi in a special nationwide televised address on Tuesday making a big announcement in the centre's fight against black money.
To break the grip of corruption and black money, we have decided that the 500 rupee and 1,000 rupee currency notes presently in use will no longer be legal tender from midnight to night, that is 8th November 2016.
The Prime Minister also announcing the time frame within which the transition to the new notes can be made.
To minimize the difficulties of citizens, in the coming days, several steps are being taken. Persons holding old notes of 500 or 1,000 rupees can deposit these notes in their bank or post office account from 10th November till close of banking hour on 30th December 2016 without any limit.
The PM also assuring that the government has made arrangements for the first 72 hours to make sure that the inconvenience to citizens is minimized. The arrangements are in place till midnight of November 11.
During this period, government hospitals will continue to accept 500 and 1,000 rupee notes for payment. This is for the benefit of those families whose members may be unwell. Pharmacies in government hospitals will also accept these notes for buying medicines with doctor's prescription. For 72 hours, till midnight on 11th November, railway ticket bookings counters, ticket counters of government buses, and airline ticket counters at airports will accept the old notes for purchase of tickets.
To carry out the massive task of transition, ATMs will not work for the next 48 hours. Thereafter, an upper limit of 2,000 rupees has been kept on withdrawals. All banks across the country are closed today. The PM explaining why this swift action was required.
In the last 2.5 years, we have brought into the open nearly 1,25,000 crore rupees. It's not a small amount. The poor have to bear the brunt of this. It had direct effect on purchasing power of the poor and the middle class.
The Prime Minister also stating that new currency notes of 500 and 2000 rupee denominations will be introduced soon. Also, those who are unable to deposit the old 500 and 1000 notes within the deadline for some reasons can change them till 31st of March next year by signing a declaration. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Well, hours after that decision, the RBI issued new series of notes for 500 and 2000 rupees with improved features and new sizes, which of course will be introduced later. The notes will be available in circulation from the 10th of November. The RBI clarifying that there has been no security breach that has led to the decision to scrap the old currency.
The decision of the government to cancel the legal tender status of 500 rupee notes and 1000 rupee notes is a very bold and powerful and a very decisive step to fight the menace of black money and the use of fake Indian currency notes, counterfeit Indian currency notes for financing of terrorism.
The government's decision being hailed as a strike against the large circulation of fake high denomination currency. The RBI clarifying there has been no breach of security feature and that it has ramped up production of lower currency denomination notes to meet the requirement arising after the scrapping of 500 and 1000 rupee notes.
RBI has been concerned about the growing menace of the fake Indian currency notes, which has been increasing in numbers. Notably, in recent years, foreign fake Indian currency notes in high denominations, either 500 and 1000, has been increasing. However, I can assure you there has been no breach of any of the security features. But for ordinary and common public, the looks of an fake Indian currency note is similar to genuine notes, which makes it difficult for them to distinguish the fake from the genuine.
Secretary of the Department of Economic Affairs highlighting statistics that show an exponential rise in the circulation of such notes.
There are statistics which show that the circulation of the high denomination currency notes have also expanded significantly over the last 5 years or so. In fact, between 2011 to 2016, the circulation of all currency notes from lower denominations to the highest denomination, they have grown by about 40% between 2011 and 2016. But the circulation of 500 rupee currency notes have increased by 76% and 1000 rupee currency notes have increased by 109%.
The RBI and the Finance Ministry have set up control rooms to monitor the situation that are operational from 8 a.m. today. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's late evening surgical strike against black money and counterfeit currency has left, of course, the common man divided. While on the one hand, the public is appreciative of the step of phasing out the 500 and 1000 rupees currency notes starting from midnight, on the other hand, everyone was worried about how to handle day-to-day monetary transactions for the next few days. Long lines, as you can see there in these visuals, were seen outside ATMs across the country till about midnight after that announcement.
Government of India has taken a very bold step because there are two economics running parallel which cannot be tolerated. One is the normal economy, another is the shadow economy. And if there are any economical growth, so this shadow, these fake notes should be stopped immediately.
I heard the news, it's very good, doing well. Corruption is going on. So if we do like this, it will be good to our society. Society will be, day by day, it will be good to us. All those who are having black money, nowadays everything is corrupted. Society is corrupted. So if we do like this, it will be good. It will be like there will be no black money, and it will be very helpful to us.
एक अच्छा कदम है ब्लैक मनी को कंट्रोल करने के लिए. बाकी गवर्नमेंट को बिजनेस जो कम्युनिटी है उसके बारे में भी सोचना चाहिए और उनको भी कोई ना कोई ऐसा रास्ता देना चाहिए जिससे वो अपने जो उनके पास अभी नोट पड़े हुए हैं जो उन्होंने अपने माल को बेच के या कोई किसी चीज़ अपने व्यापार में उन्होंने किए हैं उसको वो जमा करा सकें.
मेरी समझ से ये है कि जो हमारे देश में जो जाली करेंसी जो आ रही है दूसरे मुल्क से वो बंद होगी उससे बस ये थोड़ा बहुत है कि जो आम बिजनेसमैन है उसको थोड़ी दिक्कत होगी, लेकिन उससे फ़ायदा ये है कि जाली करेंसी वो डंप हो जाएगी, वो काफ़ी अच्छा होगा, हम लोग की इकोनॉमिक जो है अच्छी हो जाएगी आगे से बहुत।
मोदी जी ने ये वायदा किया था कि मैं ब्लैक मनी को बाहर लाऊंगा, विदेशों से में पड़ी ब्लैक मनी हो या भारत में पड़ी हो, और उन्होंने पिछले दिनों सारे हिंदुस्तान में ये बहुत बड़ा मौका दिया था कि सब लोग अपनी डिक्लेरेशन करके अपना टैक्स भर के अपनी ब्लैक मनी को वाइट में कन्वर्ट कर लें। और ये ब्लैक मनी पे उन्होंने एक बहुत बढ़िया सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक की है। डिटेल्स नहीं है, डिटेल्स जब सुबह आएंगी तो उसके बाद पता चलेगा कि इसका व्यापार पर और अर्थव्यवस्था पर क्या असर पड़ता है।
हम नरेंद्र मोदी को सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं ये बात के लिए, उन्होंने जो भी काम किया है बहुत अच्छा किया है। लगता है कि थोड़े कुछ लोग परेशान होंगे थोड़े दिन के लिए, बट जो भी काम किया है वो अच्छा काम किया है।
But the opposition has been unsparing in its criticism of the government's step. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee has called the move draconian and called it to be immediately withdrawn. The Congress and the CPIM also expressed apprehension over the move. However, the BJP said that it was needed for addressing the menace of black money.
500 और 1000 के नोट रद्द होने के बाद देश में काले धन के खिलाफ जो लड़ाई है वो एक निर्णायक मोड़ पर पहुंची है। न केवल इससे काला धन रखने वाले को परेशानी होगी, फेक करेंसी का कारोबार करने वाले देश के दुश्मनों को, नारकोटिक्स का व्यापार करने वाले और भारत की युवा पीढ़ी को तबाह करने में जुटे देश के दुश्मनों को भी एक करारा झटका लगने वाला है।
While Modi ji withdraws 1000 rupee note on one side, he introduces the 2000 rupee note on the other side. Does it not defeat his own argument that the black money hoarders keep larger denomination notes and that's why he is withdrawing a 1000 rupee note? Then why introduce a 2000 rupee note?
The announcement has just been made. The blueprint will have to be studied, the fine print, sorry. And an assessment will have to be made on both the substantive measures taken and its implementation and what inconvenience or it may cause even to honest citizens.
Congress has always been opposed to corruption, any form of corruption, but this is not the way to go about it. The Prime Minister has promised bringing black money back from foreign accounts. All those promises were made before elections. None of those promises have been kept. Now, instead of bringing back money from illegal accounts abroad, this is putting the common man under pressure. This has not at all been well thought out.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley said today that despite calls for protectionism in the world, India was looking to open its economy further. Jaitley also said that the centre will step up on reforms to attract more investment and bridge infrastructure deficit.
India is impatient to achieve higher growth, says the Finance Minister. Pointing out that India needs investments at the Indo-UK Trade Summit, Arun Jaitley enumerated several reforms initiated by the government. He said the India growth story is borne out by the fact that highways and rural roads are growing at one of the fastest rates in the world.
We are growing faster compared to the rest of the world, but by our own standards, we are still not satisfied. There's a great amount of impatience in India and a far greater amount of realization that we can grow much faster.
In line with British Prime Minister Theresa May's pitch for free trade, Jaitley emphasised the opportunities for joint ventures between India and the UK.
Between the United Kingdom and India, it's a relationship which is going to grow leaps and bounds. And I think the best of this relationship, which we have seen evolving over the last 7 decades, is yet to come.
The Finance Minister added that after deciding to quit the European Union, Britain is looking outside Europe and sees countries like India as a future partner in trade. Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, at a time when Britain and the US are tightening their visa regimes, Canada is launching more innovative visa processes. The government is specifically focusing on skilled Indians and students who can not only work in Canada but even choose to make it their permanent home. Our correspondent Akhilesh Suman spoke with John McCallum, Canadian Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, to understand the latest initiatives.
So are you going to relax visa norms for Indians in Canada?
Well, we're taking strong measures to promote immigration. I'll mention two areas. We've just announced a global talent strategy, which will make it much easier for high-tech workers to come to Canada on temporary visas. It'll only take 4 weeks to process it, and we want to welcome many more. The second area is international students. I think international students will make the best future Canadians, and so we're going to make it easier for international students to become permanent residents.
So there are so many skilled workers in India, and there's many Indian companies who are working in Canada, like in restaurant and other fields. They sometimes tell that there's a visa for those skilled workers are not easy, and they are facing some problems.
We also have our express entry system, which allows skilled people in, and there's a 6-month processing time.
So is there any special treatment, or is there any preference you are going to give to students who can go there, study, and also work there?
Absolutely. What we're going to do is we're going to give international students more points under what we call express entry, so it will be easier for international students to become permanent residents of Canada.
There is another category of Indians who have a capacity to live in Canada, but they're not skilled workers, but they have money, they have capital, they can go and stay in Canada, they can become a citizen of Canada, they can live for the whole life. So is there any consideration for such type of people who are wealthy, but they have passed their age, like 50 or so?
We don't have an investor program, if that's what you mean. We do not have a program where if you invest a certain amount of money, you're guaranteed permanent residence. We have programs for skilled workers. We also have a very important family class. And we're working very hard to make it quicker for husband and wife to come to Canada faster.
With a quick break here, more news follows in a bit. Stay with us.
Harappan sites are a treasure trove of sophisticated pottery. These creations show tremendous advances by the potter's wheel. Creations like the perforated jar, the copper axe, the chisel and knives astound even present-day archaeologists. Figurines depicting yoga poses, chess pieces display a complexity unsurpassed even by later-day civilizations, all of which make the Harappan civilization truly unique.
Welcome back. Let's get you some more news now. And another army Jawan was killed in unprovoked firing by Pakistani troops in Nowshera sector of Rajouri district on Tuesday. 2 Jawans were also injured in Kalal belt along the line of control. Heavy shelling was also reported in KG sector in Poonch district. Retaliating strongly though, the Indian troops also hit 3 Pakistani posts, inflicting heavy damage.
Pakistani troops once again targeted Indian positions along the line of control in Nowshera sector of Rajouri district in Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday, killing 1 soldier. The attack was strongly retaliated by Indian forces as they damaged 3 Pakistani military posts.
We have lost a brave heart today. He has been martyred. And we are giving a befitting reply to the Pakistan army, and we're going to hit them hard where it hits them the hardest. The Indian army is taking all measures as far as the unprovoked ceasefire violation retaliation is concerned.
In another case of ceasefire violation, 2 Jawans were injured in shelling in Kalal belt along LOC. Pakistani troops also resorted to unprovoked firing in Krishna Ghati sector of Poonch district. On Monday, Pakistani troops had targeted Mankot and Balakot areas of Mendhar sector.
We want peace with all our neighbors, but at the same time we are proud of our forces. Our forces are capable of defending our borders.
Amid continuing Pakistani shelling along the border, Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewed the security situation with chiefs of Army, Navy and Vice Chief of Air Force. Prime Minister was briefed on how the forces are handling the Pakistani provocation. In the valley, separatists held a meeting with the traders and other organizations to discuss issues regarding the ongoing uprising and education. The separatists said that they will continue their agitation in the valley after 7-hour consultations with stakeholders. With more than 4 months of unrest, the opposition parties slammed the state government for the recent burning of schools in the valley.
Schools are being burnt. There is a definite scheme under which is being done. And every day she says, in 1 week I'll give you the names. Where are those names? We would like to know who are the ones who are burning these schools.
Ask them this question. Why is it happening? They are the government. They are the governance. I do not hold people responsible. This is the present government of Jammu and Kashmir, led by Mehbooba.
अगर कोई militant जला रहा है तो पकड़ा क्यों नहीं गया? तो इसमें तो बड़े डीप जाने की जरूरत है. कोई कौन सा ये व्यक्ति है, कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है जो ऐसा काम कर रही है और जो पकड़ में एक भी नहीं आ रहा.
Meanwhile, Pakistan summoned India's Deputy High Commissioner JP Singh for the 4th time in just over a week and launched a strong protest over alleged unprovoked ceasefire violations by Indian forces along the line of control. There have been over 100 ceasefire violations on Indian posts and civilian areas along the line of control after the surgical strikes. At least a dozen civilians and security forces have been killed in the firing. Meanwhile, the last rites of slain soldier Naik Rajendra Narayan were performed in his native village in Maharashtra's Kolhapur district. Narayan was killed in unprovoked firing by Pakistani Rangers in the Poonch sector on Sunday. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In other news, the Supreme Court has come down heavily on the centre for not having any policy to tackle the rising pollution in the national capital. It gave the centre 48 hours to devise a minimum program to deal with pollution. Meanwhile, the National Green Tribunal also banned any kind of construction in Delhi and NCR region for the next 7 days. Here are more details.
The National Green Tribunal ordered a week-long ban on construction in Delhi and National Capital Region. A bench headed by NGT chairperson Swatantra Kumar also questioned if any scientific study was conducted before shutting down schools due to air pollution. Slamming Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan and UP for not taking prior steps to control crop burning, NGT directed the 4 states and Delhi to give complete mechanism on implementation of its directions to curb air pollution.
कॉर्पोरेशन को और डीडीए को इन दोनों विभागों से कहा गया है कि जो भी आपकी जितनी भी मैन पावर है, जितने भी स्ट्रेंथ हैं आपके, उनमें से तकरीबन आधे लोगों को आप डिप्लॉय करें और उनको फील्ड में लगाएं और खासकर जो गार्बेज बर्निंग की या फिर कंस्ट्रक्शन मटेरियल जो सड़क पे पड़े रहते हैं या जो भी साइट इस तरह से ऑपरेशनल है जहाँ पे कि प्रॉपर केयर नहीं लिया जा रहा, उसको लेकर आप थोड़ा ज़्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट एक्शन लें.
In another petition filed by environmentalists, the Supreme Court directed the centre to devise a common minimum program to deal with pollution by Thursday.
If the pollution level is, say, 200, which is double of what is the safe limit, you may decide to close down schools. If it is 400, you may decide to take the cars off the road. If it is 600, you may decide to shut down the entire city. So what is your common minimum graded response to a pollution emergency? That's what the Chief Justice wants the Union government to come up with.
Meanwhile, capital Delhi continued to struggle with the worst pollution in 17 years on Tuesday. While visibility improved marginally as winds swept through the region, levels of PM 2.5 remained at hazardous levels at 202 micrograms per cubic meter. The prescribed standards of PM 2.5 is 60, and anything beyond that can harm the respiratory system as the ultrafine particulates can embed deep into the lungs and also enter the bloodstream. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And now let's head on to the US, where in a few hours from now it will be clear as to who will become the 45th President of the United States, Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump. As the first polls closed in the long and bitter race for the White House, Republican Trump and Democrat Clinton scored early victories in states where they were expected to win. The candidate has to win 270 electoral college votes to be declared the winner.
History is in the making in America today. Votes are being counted that will determine if the US will get its first woman president in Hillary Clinton, or will Donald Trump, who was so far considered an outsider in politics, score an unprecedented upset. The Republican nominee cast his ballot near Trump Tower in New York City on Tuesday and was met with the cheers and boos outside the polling station. Clinton voted at a school near her home in New York with former President Bill Clinton.
What I'm hoping for is that this will not tear the country apart, that people will understand that we are one nation and one people. We have many colors to our people.
In the early results, Hillary Clinton took the state of Vermont and Donald Trump won the states of Indiana, Kentucky and West Virginia, all Republican strongholds. However, some close races are going on in battleground states like Georgia, Florida and North Carolina.
It wasn't too bad. I mean, the line was rather long, very long line, but just walking and just kind of, I guess, just walking, it was okay. It was worth me standing in line, put it like that.
On the last day of campaigning, both candidates endured a frenzied final travel schedule. Clinton was joined by celebrities Bon Jovi, Bruce Springsteen and Lady Gaga, and Trump was in Michigan making a last-minute push for votes. Clinton appears to have the easier route through the electoral map to the 270 votes needed to win the presidency. She's counting on minority voters and highly educated white women to take her to victory. Trump is hoping for a huge turnout from white men and undercover voters. Meanwhile, the presidential election is not the only close race that will wrap up on Tuesday. Democrats are battling to grab back the Senate from Republicans. The GOP, meanwhile, is expected to hold on to the House of Representatives, but likely with a reduced majority. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
All right, now cricket in India will take on England in the first test match of the 5-match series at Rajkot today. Supreme Court, in fact, on Tuesday had permitted the BCCI to incur the expense of 58.66 lakh rupees for the test match. So the series will be the first of the 5-match affair on Indian soil in 3 decades, and the opening clash will also mark the debut of Rajkot as a test venue. The game promises to be an engrossing contest between the world number 1 ranked India and the team that last beat them at home 4 years ago. In 2012, England came back from a game down to turn the tables on India and post a 2-1 win in a 4-game rubber. On the other hand, Virat Kohli is keen to improve his team's batting against the visitors.
I can put it very simply as that was a phase when I didn't perform too well, and it happened to be in England. It could have been any other country in the world. Made me realize what I need to improve on my game, so I'm pretty thankful to England for that. I've been a really improved cricketer from there on.
And that's all we have for you on the Breakfast News for the moment. Thanks so much for joining us.